Greetings and salutations, cadets. I am Commander Andrews and welcome to New York City. Here is some drone footage we captured of Miss Liberty herself, situated in Upper New York Bay. Did you know she receives approximately 4 million visitors per year? Today we continue our journey around the world and are preparing to leave this bustling metropolis and jet off to Niagara Falls. We also spent some time in Central Park. This was the first major landscaped park in the United States. It was established in 1857 and spans 843 acres in the heart of Manhattan. There are 4 major airports in and around New York City, between them handling almost 200 million passengers per year. Those airports are Newark Liberty International, Teterboro Airport, John F. Kennedy International, and the airport we currently find ourselves, LaGuardia Airport. Our beloved 737 has also had a fresh paint job, with a livery which I feel will only be appropriate, what with our upcoming destinations. Behold, we shall be flying the Canadian flag while soaring over her snowy peaks. This will also be a cunning way to slip through unnoticed. Niagara Falls is on the border of the US and Canada, but our destination airport of Niagara Falls International is still on the US side. So for this flight, we will not be leaving the United States just yet. So here we are, parked at our gate. It is gate Delta 1, if I'm not too much mistaken. If we just get out the little nav map, we're going to zoom in. We are parked at Delta 1, which was where we parked when we got here. They obviously did take her away to the hangar to get the paint job, but we're ready to go. As you can see, the jetway is not working today. It is broken, so we've got the air stairs out. So, jumping inside, let's get the show on the road. We're going to go upstairs. We're going to turn the batteries on and the emergency power on. Once that's done, we're going to flip the window heat and the probe heat switches to on. We're going to go further upstairs and we're going to set the nav switches on the inertial navigation system, and we're going to set the heading STS. So once we've done that, we're going to go straight down to the FMC. So we can just turn that off there. Right, there you are. To the FMC, we're going to go to FS Actions and we're going to go to Ground Service and we're going to request the ground power. Okay, let's have a pop outside. The ground power is there. She is. She's arrived. So, this Air Canada livery is not white. It's got a very pale blue tinge to it. Or is it a pale bluey greeny tinge to it? Right, so heading back up, we have ground power, so let's turn that on. Okay, now that we don't have to worry about draining the batteries, we can guard the battery switch. We are on ground power, and yes, now we can start planning this flight. So, if you have a look at the little nav map, I've got a flight already planned out. We are expecting to take off on runway 13. First waypoint is Kiwi, then I've got it at Vobos, then at Goldman. From there it's straight on to... There it is, not there. There it is. Niagara Falls International, KIAG. It's going to be a flight of 252 nautical miles. So that is the airfield there. Now if we zoom out, that line there is the border between the US and Canada. Niagara Falls itself is right here. I think it's here. Or is it here? No, it's here. But we are very close. But there isn't really any airfield suitable for us on the Canadian side that is close enough to the falls to make it practical. So, there we are. But what we're going to do now is contact the ground to get our permissions to get things going. We are going to be Air Canada 737, our call sign for the next few flights until we reach Alaska. So let's go ahead and do that. It is already set onto the ground frequency, which is 127.675. That Beyond ATC has done for us. So let's go ahead and contact them. LaGuardia Ground, Air Canada 737, requesting IFR clearance to Niagara Falls International. Okay. While we wait for them to drop their donut and move their coffee cup aside, we are going to...
Air Canada 737, LaGuardia Ground, cleared to Niagara Falls Airport, Goldman 8 departure, then has filed climb via SID, departure frequency 120.4, squawk 4410.
Okay. Squawk 4410, departure frequency 120.4, climb and maintain as filed, Goldman 8 departure, Air Canada 737. Let's hope they'll be okay with that.
Air Canada 737, read back correct. Call me back when ready for pushback or engine start.
Alrighty. Call back for pushback, Air Canada 737. Okay, so now that we've got that out the way, we are going to continue with our planning. We're going to try and make this nice and quick. Let's go to our FMC. We're going to go to our pos init. Going to go to next page. We're going to grab those coordinates, previous page, drop them in. Okay, we saw some action over here. See, our screens have all lit up as they should. Everything looks on that should. Our reference airport, we are at LaGuardia International. That's KLGA. We can put that in there. Gate, it does not matter what gate we are at. Our route, okay, origin, yes, KLGA. We can just drop that in there. And our destination is KIAG. KIAG. Drop that in there. Runway, we are expecting to take off on a runway 13. 13. Okay, so from there we can go. Is there a next page we need to know about? We don't need to worry about this. Let's go to legs. Right, so we're going to put in our first waypoint, which is Kiwi. So KIWIE. Drop him in. Then we've got Vobaz. VOBO. Z, drop him in there. Then we got Goldman, GLDMN, GLDMN. These three waypoints are very close after takeoff, but after Goldman, it's all the way to Niagara Falls, with the last waypoint just before the airfield as Wozy, and that is WOZEE. Drop him in. After that, it'll be the airport itself. I don't think it's really necessary to put the final code in, but I do so nonetheless. Just makes me feel more complete, because that always gives us a discontinuity there. To fix that, we go to the next page, because that's where the last entry is. We click on it to put it in the scratch pad, previous page, and drop that from the paste board into there. Now that discontinuity has been resolved. We can activate that, execute it. Okay, from there we can go to our takeoff performances and climbs. For this flight we're going to stick with the normal default that the flight sim gives us, which is a full load of people and half a tank of fuel. When I say half a tank, I mean half a load of fuel. There's more than one tank on this aircraft. The zero fuel weight, we'll click on that. The aircraft knows how much it weighs when it's completely empty. We'll just put that straight back in there. Our altitude today, we are going to fly at flight level 200, which is 20,000 feet. The reason being, it's not a very long flight, so we don't have to go that high. Reserves, we'll go with 5, and cost index, we'll go with 50. Execute that. N1 limit, we're not going to worry about engine power on the climb and the descents and so on. Take off. We'll be taking off with the usual 5-degree flaps. And then the center of gravity, we'll drop that in there. There's our 5.57 trim, and our rotate speeds are the usual 129 knots on the runway. So the trim 5.57. So in the past, I've discovered something quite neat. We need to set now the trim to 5.57, so rotating this takes a hell of a long time. I have once or twice sped up this sequence, but if you map the trim on a button on your keyboard, and I press that now, not my keyboard, the joystick, look how fast that goes now. And I've also accidentally lowered my flaps, so I'll have to fix that. There, so that is much faster, and we'll be doing that from now on. So the flaps, now that it's been lowered, we need to put all the way back up. I accidentally lowered the flaps, but if you look outside, the flaps will not be moving because the engines are not on. The flaps need engine power to move. So that way we can be forgiven. Alright, now that we've done that, that's the meat of the whole thing out the way. We can go to next page. There's nothing else we need to be worried about, none of that. We can then go back to menu. We will be to the FS. We'll be using the ground services now when we release the we need to release the ground power unit. Okay. We can start the APU now. So let's go upstairs. Let's set one of the fuel pumps to on because the APU uses fuel, and so that will be needed. We'll switch it on to on and then start. And there, if you listen carefully, she will be firing up. So this is quite momentous in that when we take off today, well actually no, we will still be in the US, so this will be our last flight in the US. When we leave Niagara, then we'll be leaving America, the United States. The airport's quiet today. Where's all the other aircraft? I don't see any. Maybe we'll see some on the taxi. They've put us on the far side of the airport, so as not to cause embarrassment. Okay, so the APU light has come on. 1, 2, and the aircraft is now running on APU. Nice. So we can tell them to get rid of the ground power. Release the ground power. Okay. Also what we can do is what we can do, return ground services. We can tell them to take the stairs away. 1, 2, and the doors are closing. That's nice. Because usually if you elect to take the chocks away, you can see on the wheels, the chocks are still there. The moment you take those away, everything disappears, the stairs moves away, and the door's closed. But they've got the sense to close the doors if you tell the stairs to go away, so people don't fall out. The stairs at the rear needs to wait for the front stairs to disappear, which they have. So he should be disappearing anytime soon. And we're just about ready to go. Let's go back to menu. We will be doing pushback any second. We're going to contact ATC and get our pushback going. What we can do, before we do anything else, let's just set our altitude. Don't want to forget that. And our landing altitude will be at 500 feet. Niagara Falls International is 500 feet above sea level. What else are we forgetting? Let's not worry about the yaw damper now. We'll worry about that when the engines are running. And I think we are ready. Okay. Let's go ahead and contact LaGuardia Ground. LaGuardia Ground, Air Canada 737, ready for pushback. So, then we can go down here.
Air Canada 737, LaGuardia Ground, pushback approved, face northeast.
Pushback approved, face northeast, Air Canada 737. So, this pushback is going to be slightly different to our previous ones, because we don't really need to turn because there's no space to turn. So we're going to do a straight back pushback and then start the engines and then taxi out. So we need to tell the pushback tug driver, because apparently there's a bit dwarf that he doesn't realize this. Okay. So it's going to be a straight out. We're going to select our tug. Not 262. Let's rather make it about 320 feet to the taxi line. That we need to tell him, and we can start. The parking brake is disconnected.
We've been cleared for pushback and start tail straight out.
Right. Once he does that, let's get the business end going on this side.
Ready for push straight back.
All the fuel pumps are now on. The APU bleed is on. We'll use the left igniters today.
Brakes released.
And now we can start engine 2 spooling. Okay, there's our pushback happening. Right, introduce the fuel. Let's look out for that fuel flow. There she goes. Let's start engine 2. My apologies, engine 1. Ooh, we need to turn on the hydraulic pumps. Good thing we weren't turning, because that would have been problematic. And start engine 1 fuel flow. What we also need to do is, oh goodness gracious, should have done this earlier on. Put the position lights on, taxi lights on.
Pushback complete. Parking brake, please.
And we can go parking brake. Here we go.
Brake set.
Right, that click that we heard was engine 1's starter switch returning to the off position.
Pin is disconnected. Watch for the slip release from guidance on your left. Have a good flight.
Right, let's have a look at this pushback. I think that was just right. Okay, it is a bit cloudy today, so I think we should turn up the lights a little bit on the in the cockpit here. We'll turn the panel up above here. The circuit breaker panel we don't need to worry about. We don't pay any attention to that. Right, but now the engines are running. Let's take the aircraft onto main engine power. And we can go Gen 1. And now we can return the APU to the off position. We can turn the air packs on and the APU bleed off. Now we can turn the yaw damper on. What have I forgotten? There's always something. Everything looks okay. Everything looks A for away. Okay, now that we've put the lights on the upstairs, we'll need to do that for the downstairs. And those are down here. We'll turn the background lights up there. Turn that on a bit there. And the main panel, turn that on a bit there. There we go. We are running. We still have the parking brake on. We must remember that. We can, in the meantime, lower our flaps to the takeoff position of 5. And we are ready to contact ATC. LaGuardia ground, Air Canada 737, ready for taxi. Okay.
Air Canada 737, runway 13 taxi via Zulu, Bravo Papa, hold short runway 22.
Taxi to runway 13, taxi via Zulu, Bravo Papa, hold short runway 22. Air Canada 737. Alright, we are ready to go. So let's put that parking brake off. There we go. Start to apply a wee bit of power to get us moving. And we're on our way. Thank you, New York. That was fun. Yes, our rotating beacon is not rotating and flashing. Let's see what the problem is there. It'll be our anti-collision lights. Clearly we didn't turn them on properly there, so let's just pop inside again, skedaddle across. Position, anti-collision, let's turn that on. There we go. Now we got the flashing red lights. Position, strobe, and steady, that's fine. Taxi is now on. Okay, so where are we going? So taxi via Zulu, Bravo, Papa, hold short, runway 22. So let's have a look. Zooming all the way in while we're seeing where we're going. So there's Bravo. All the way, Bravo. After Bravo crosses runway 22, it becomes Papa. So we're going to hold here. Now that's runway 22 over there. We're going to be taxiing to runway 13 and taking off in that direction. So, once again, a long taxi. Let's just get the... stay on the yellow line. And for you, my dear viewers, I will obviously speed up this taxi section a tad. So while we're approaching runway 22, we're going to just set our altitude. So we're going to go fly at flight level 200 today, so we'll just set that. Our indicated airspeed up to 10,000 feet, we're going to set to 250. There is no other, there are no other aircraft out today. I don't know what's wrong. Maybe it's one of my settings. That's quite lonely. Maybe there'll be some aircraft when we get to our destination. Okay, 2200. We've got the flight, the course keyed in. You can see over there after takeoff. which is in the opposite direction that we're facing. We're going to turn around and head straight like that. So basically, after we get in the air, it's a 180 we need to do. Right. Right, if you can see here on the painted on the tarmac, here is runway 22. So we'll just come to a stop here, because we need to hold short at 22.
Air Canada 737, cross runway 22 at Papa. Continue taxi via Papa.
Okay, there we go. Cross runway 22, continue taxi. Air Canada 737.
Negative, cross runway 22 at Papa and continue taxi via Papa.
Yes, that's what I said, you see. Cross runway 22 at Papa and continue taxi via Papa. Air Canada 737. Okay, is he going to be happy with that? Yes. Right, let's go. But even though he's given me clearance, it is good practice to look left, nonetheless, and look right. Because air traffic controllers aren't perfect. Right, we have crossed the runway. And we're up.
Air Canada 737, contact LaGuardia Tower 118.7. Have a good one.
Contact LaGuardia Tower 118.7, Air Canada 737. Planning to have a good one. Okay, almost there, and come to a stop. Okay, on the edge of the water. Ready to go. So I am expecting, because there's no other traffic in the air, I'm going to have to check my settings. I'm going to have to go... Let's turn on the TCAS now. Landing lights, we can go on. We are just about ready to go, and yeah. LaGuardia Tower, Air Canada 737, ready for departure. We are at 5-degree flap.
Air Canada 737, backtrack runway 13. Call when ready for departure.
Backtrack runway 13, call when ready for departure. Air Canada 737. So I don't know why they're telling me to backtrack, because I don't need to, I'm already here. LaGuardia Tower, Air Canada 737, ready for departure. Are we good to go?
Air Canada 737, LaGuardia Tower, wind 065 at tree, fly heading 160, runway 13 cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, fly heading 160, runway 13. Air Canada 737. Okay, let's go. Let us inch our way onto the runway. There are some very ominous clouds about. Okay, everything's been done, everything's been set, there's no reason to hang around. Let's off we go. We are rolling. Airspeed's alive. Rotation at 129. Rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
That is positive, I would say. Gear up. Let's begin that turnout. We need to fly onto a 160 very soon after takeoff, so that's what I'm doing.
Air Canada 737, reset transponder, squawk 4410.
Aha, that's one thing we've forgotten to do. We need to set the transponder to 4410. Squawk 4410, Air Canada 737. So, this is going to be the tricky thing. So let's see if we can engage LNAV now. Not yet. So we need to go down here and we need to squawk 4410. Wait. Whoops. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Now can we engage LNAV? We can. It's alright, that's one thing I can take off my plate. 10. Come along now. There we go. 4410. Thank goodness.
Air Canada 737, contact New York departure.
Contact New York departure 120.4, Air Canada 737. Okay. New York departure, Air Canada 737, climbing 4,000 feet.
Air Canada 737, New York departure, radar contact, cleared direct Vobas, resume the Goldman 8. Climb and maintain flight level 190.
Climb and maintain flight level 190, resume Goldman 8, cleared direct to Vobas. Air Canada 737. Right, let's hope you was happy with that. That was a mouthful. Right, so the plane is turning itself because we're on the LNAV, we're on the heading that we programmed. What we need to still program is the altitude. He has said cleared to 19,000, but we're planning to head to 20. So we'll put 20 into the autopilot in the meantime. By the time we get to close, they would have cleared us to 20. Because we can't stay at 19,000 because we're flying from east to west, which means we need to be at an an even number altitude. 222, let's put the auto throttle on. We've got it at 240, that's fine. All flight director switches must go on. Okay. And there is New York, which we are saying goodbye to. I think we're lucky to have this view.
Air Canada 737, fly present heading, climb and maintain flight level 190.
Climb and maintain flight level 190, maintain heading. Air Canada 737. Right. If we look out the window, there is the Statue of Liberty.
Climb and maintain flight level 190.
Climb and maintain flight level 190, Air Canada 737. Okay, and off we go. This red beads here tell me that my flaps are still at 5, so let's bring them up now. 1 and 2 and 3. Right, after they finish traveling, those red beads will disappear. And now that the gear is finished traveling, we're going to return that to the off position. Okay, the red beads have disappeared. We are nearing 10,000. We are in the clouds now. And we're off. We're off to see the Wizard of Niagara Falls. Going through 9,000. Everything looks under control. what have I forgotten besides the squawk? When there's just one person flying the aircraft, after takeoff, you're busy climbing, and then they tell you need to change your squawk. Oh, that's... There's a rule that we have in the aviation industry. When you have your hands full, aviate first, then navigate, then communicate. Let's just double check the upstairs. Everything needs to be correct here. So the air packs are on, that's verified. APU bleed is off. Your damper's on. I don't see any orange lights. Everything looks hunky-dory. Now that we are pretty much going through, yes, we're through 10,000. We can turn the landing lights off. We can turn the taxi lights off. And we can increase speed to, let's take her up to 320. Okay, we're coming through the clouds. There's the blue sky. And what I'm going to do is just double check with them. Your departure, Air Canada 737, request flight level 200.
Air Canada 737, confirm new cruise altitude, flight level 200.
Affirmative, flight level 200, Air Canada 737.
Air Canada 737, roger, new cruise altitude, flight level 200.
There we go. So they're probably going to hand us off very soon. You can tell because of the static that was in that transmission. And we are going to go to our cruise section of the video. And we'll see everyone, we'll see you all when we begin our descent into Niagara Falls. Enjoy the flight. Welcome back. It is time to begin our descent. We are 61 nautical miles out from the Wozy waypoint. So,
Southwest 56, you are 57 miles south.
yeah.
Descend and maintain 2,900 feet. Expect ILS runway 28 approach via LRTH transition. Clear to LRTH.
Let's get the show on the road. During our cruise, we have gone over from New York Center to Cleveland Center, so we're going to contact them and begin our approach. Cleveland Center, Air Canada 737, ready to descend.
Approach via LRTH transition. Clear to LRTH Southwest 56.
Air Canada 737, fly present heading, descend and maintain 6,000, altimeter tree 001, Niagara Falls Airport, landing runway 10 left.
Alrighty. Descend and maintain 6,000, altimeter 3001, landing runway 10 left, Air Canada 737.
Good day.
Right, so let's begin that descent
Southwest 697, you are 14 miles northeast
to
of
6,000 vertical speed,
120.5 when inbound.
and let's slow the aircraft down to 260. So we've got some homework to do now. Let's finish the rest of the altitude there. We'll descend at 1.5, that's fine. Let's take this down to 250. We don't want that running away from us. Okay, so they have given us a runway 10 left for landing. Let's have a look-see. Let's see what we can find. There he is there. We've just passed our descent and now we're descending. Okay, so there's the Wozy waypoint and there onto this. So, 10 left. So we're going to come from the other side. We're going to come basically over the falls. That might be fun. So, we don't have an ILS for runway 10 left, so that's okay. That's not a problem. What we do have is 110.10, the ILS for the other runway, with the opposite runway. With that in mind, we can still use the localizer, but we're just approaching from the opposite end. And we know that runway 10 left will be 100 on the magnetic compass, because runway 28 on the opposite end is 280. So, let's keep that in mind. So we can tune the course to 100. So even though the runway we're going to approach does not have ILS, there are ways and means around that. So we saw that the... Let's have a look down here. It is 110, the ILS. Let's just double check that. ILS for runway 28 right is 110.10. So let's put that in. Let's just flip that 110, because then there's just less change we need to do over here, and flip it back. And out of habit, do it to the other side. And flip back. Okay, so ILS is attuned, albeit for the wrong runway, but we'll still use that to our advantage. We'll still be able to use the approach here to make sure that everything looks good here. We probably won't be able to use the glide slope, but we will be able to use the localizer. Okay, going through 15,000. Let's have a look-see here. We're still going to go to Wozy, but now, after Wozy, if we want to approach the runway from here, we want to find a waypoint on this side, and I, oddly enough, don't see one on this side, so we're going to have to fly this pretty much completely manually. But I'm up for the challenge. Going through 14,000. Let's slow down a touch more. Now, Cleveland Center told us, fly present heading, descend and maintain 6,000. Niagara Falls Airport, landing runway 10 left.
Air Canada 737, contact Buffalo approach 126.5.
Contact Buffalo approach 126.5. Air Canada 737. So let's see what Buffalo approach has to say. Buffalo approach, Air Canada 737, 13,000, descending 6,000.
9 o'clock, 4 miles at 3,300 feet twin jet. Report them in sight.
Air Canada 737, verify information Lima.
Air Canada 737, verify information Lima.
Cessna 17 Papa have a twin jet in sight.
Air Canada 737, Buffalo approach, altimeter 3001. Expect the visual approach runway 10 left.
Visual approach, runway 10 left, altimeter 3001, Air Canada 737. So they asked me to verify information Lima, which is what I would have listened to if I had programmed the ATIS. That is the recorded message regarding runways in use and weather conditions, and as they rattle off all this information, they will then ask to verify. They will tell you to verify with the tower or the air traffic controller that you have listened to the ATIS. We of course have not, so it's a straight lie that I'm verifying, but it's fine. So we're all happy for the time being. The moment we get to Wozy, we're going to have to fly straight. So what I might do now, just to preempt this, there's a waypoint here called ULAC. So I'm going to tell the aircraft, after Wozy, I want you to fly to ULAC first. From there, we should be able to just line ourselves up with the runway. I'm very surprised there's like no other waypoints in line with 10 left. Probably because of the falls itself. In fact, I'm sure that's what it is. Yes. So let's go to ULAC. Then I think let's do that first. Then we'll cross all the other bridges when we get to it. So that's YULUC. Let's put that into the computer, the FMC. YULUC. Let's make sure that that is right. We've actually got some time on our hands. There we go. YULUC. Okay, so then we're going to put that in place of Kiag, and then put that back, execute. So now we're going to see, we're going to take the magnification out on our map. There we go. After Wozy, we are now diverting left a bit and then right into Kiag, but that's not lining up with the runway. That we need to be mindful of. We need to be mindful that as we reach ULUC, we deactivate the LNAV. So something a bit different. Every flight's a bit different, but we're missing the scenery. And is that a lake coming up? That is Lake Erie over there. There's Lake Erie. Going through 8,000 now. So we need to turn the landing lights on. We are at 267, which is not good. We need to slow it down a touch, because we need to be at 250 or slower. Let's take this down. Not that that's going to make a difference, because... So we're going down to 6,000. We're at 7.4 at the moment. There's an airfield directly ahead. I believe that is... Buffalo. Right there, that airfield.
Buffalo approach generic November 9er tree 62 Sierra 7,300 feet.
So we're getting to 6,000 feet, nice and fast. We're still going too fast, so what I want to do is take this up to something manageable, and then we're just going to go to level change. That's going to raise the nose slightly and slow our descent. By raising the nose slightly, we're going to slow the aircraft down to the indicated airspeed that we have over here. That's what level change is. So there's two ways to descend and to ascend. You have the altitude hold here and then the vertical speed. Or you can have level change. So in that way you dictate to the aircraft what speed you want to be doing while you're descending or climbing. And your speed will dictate the feet per minute. So now we've just dipped under 250.
Air Canada 737. Descend and maintain 2,600 vectors for the approach.
There we go. Descend 2,600 vectors for the approach. Air Canada 737. I hope they're going to be happy with that. 2,600. Let's do it. So now it's gone back to vertical speed, which is fine. 2,600. So they've asked us to go pretty low now. Especially considering that Niagara Falls International is at 500 feet above sea level, and they've asked us to descend to 2,600. So, in actual fact, we'll only be 2,000 feet above the ground when we start our final approach. There goes the river, and I believe Niagara Falls up there somewhere, or is it over there? But we need to be mindful of what's going on here. There we're heading directly, so we're going to have our game faces on now. This is where we need to start getting things ready. So let's slow the aircraft down to 200. And we need to be ready to turn this aircraft at a moment's notice. We are descending too slowly. We need to expedite this descent. Okay, that's better. See, now it would be wrong to use level change because we need to descend quite fast. And by doing that, the aircraft will go faster, which we don't want. Let's have a look outside.
Air Canada 737, turn right, heading 315.
Turn right, heading 315, Air Canada 737. Whoops. So let's go to heading select. And we want to head to 315. Now heading select. Now we're off level change. I mean, not level change, we're off LNAV. So there was a very small adjustment. Now we're on 315. So they are going to guide us onto the final approach path. We're almost... We've sped up now, we're at 260, which is bad, so I'm going to deploy the spoilers just to slow the aircraft down a little. So we want to slow this now also. I want to take it to 180. Because we are beginning...
Air Canada 737, turn right, heading 355, descend and maintain 1,000.
Okay. Descend and maintain 1,000, right 355, Air Canada 737. Descend and maintain 1,000. My goodness. 355 we said. Okay, let's begin adding some flap. Because now, very soon, I'm going to add more flap. I'm actually going to take the autopilot off now. We're going to fly in manually from here. Auto throttle I'm also taking off. That'll be fun. Okay, we have now control of this aircraft. We're on 355. I'm going to turn right even more. And we need to...
Air Canada 737, turn right, heading 080.
There we go. Turn right, heading 080, Air Canada 737. Okay, lowering the gear.
Going to 124.925, generic 62 Sierra.
We have overshot the runway. Maybe we can salvage this.
Air Canada 737, airport is at your 2 o'clock 4 miles. Report the field in sight.
Field in sight, Air Canada 737.
Air Canada 737, cleared visual approach runway 10 left.
Cleared visual 10 left, Air Canada 737.
1,000.
Alright.
Air Canada 737, contact Niagara Tower 118.5, take care.
Going to 118.5, Air Canada 737.
Airspeed full.
Okay, everything's fine. Niagara Tower, Air Canada 737, final approach.
Air Canada 737, Niagara Tower, wind calm, runway 10 left, cleared to land.
500.
There we go. Cleared to land, runway 10 left, Air Canada 737.
Airspeed full. Airspeed full.
Everything's fine. That last bit was a bit harrowing. But here we are. We managed to rescue that situation.
200.
Hello, Niagara Falls International.
100.
We forgot to arm the spoilers, but it's fine. We'll do it ourselves.
30. 20. 10.
Here we go. And we can go reverse thrust. Reverse thrust. Reverse thrust. Doesn't look to me like the reverse thrust is working. We'll have to have that checked out. Anyways, we're still
Air
here.
Canada 737, exit right at Delta 2.
Exit right at Delta 2, Air Canada 737. So, I'm assuming this is Delta 2. We will have... Actually, I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm going to double check. This is... That's not taxiway. Okay. Let's taxi to the end of the runway. And let's put all of the flaps back up. Let's clean the aircraft up. Flaps coming all the way up. Spoilers are down. That's good. So, if we have a look at... There is Delta. So this must be Delta 2. So that's where they want us to turn off. We also mustn't get confused that this here is another runway. So we want not turn right here. We want to turn right over there. Okay. Turning right at Delta 2. And when after we come off and we've come to a stop, we will turn off the landing lights, turn off the TCAS.
Air Canada 737, contact ground 125 Point Tree.
Okay. Contact ground 125.3, Air Canada 737. Right, up we go. Landing lights. Okay. Niagara Falls ground, Air Canada 737, request a taxi to gate. And then we can go
Air
down
Canada
here.
737, welcome to Niagara Falls Airport. Say parking or advise if need assignment.
Okay, well yes, I need assignment. Niagara Falls ground, any gate will do, Air Canada 737.
Air Canada 737, gate 60, taxi at pilot's discretion.
I like that. Taxi at pilot's discretion, Air Canada 737. Okay, gate 60. Shall we have a look-see? There we go. Gate 60. That doesn't happen often. So we're going to taxi straight down this taxiway that we're on, basically. Okay, well, that looks doable. Let's ramp up this taxi. I think I will speed up this taxi for you, my faithful viewers. So they didn't tell me to hold short at runway 28 left, so I'm taxiing straight over. Okay, so we've got a bit of a... Let's have a look outside. Let's slow the aircraft down a slight, as if we were going much faster than our walking speed there. Okay, now we need to be very wary of this tower, which is very... Oh, you see now, if I carry on following that line, I'm going to hit the tower. That's no good. But gate 60 is this one right in front of us. This is us. They've actually given us a parking right in front of the tower. So, I'm not complaining. And we've got a jetway. And again, where are the other planes? We'll have to check on that and have that fixed. Whoops. Very sensitive brakes, this Air Canada. And we'll come to a stop there. Once we've done that, we will put on the parking brakes. Parking brakes. Parking brakes. And are we going to have... we might not. Let's see if we can. We haven't fired up the APU, so I'm not going to worry about the APU. We can go to FS actions. We can go to ground services. We can put the chocks on. Okay, the chocks are on. Nothing happening over there, so let's turn the engines off. And now we are going to... Now it should go to battery power now. There should be all sorts of alarms coming on. Yes, this is where we want to be. Next page. Not stairs. Jetway. Yes. And request it. Is that going to work? It probably won't. This is only Niagara Falls International after all. There we go. Now it should work. Okay, let's try again. Nope. Okay. What we will do instead is call for the stairs. Or what we can try is try out the air stairs. That's something that will deplane. Stairs. Extend the air stairs. There we go. See? I think this is when you land in the middle of nowhere and they've got nothing. There we go. Built-in stairs. Look at that. And from there we can go to previous page. Previous page. Previous page. Return. Doors. Open the left door. Yes, there we go. Then go back, ground services. There we are. Alright. Thank you very much, everyone. That was a nice flight, a successful flight. And this will be our last airport in the US. Next flight, we're heading into the heart of Canada. We don't know exactly where in the heart of Canada, but we'll figure that out in the coming days. Commander Andrews out.